Hey guys, and welcome back to Heroes of Might and Magic 4. As always, I'm DemonFire93, and last time we met up with the Oracle, and today we take the first step of many. Victory condition is to find the Desert Hero. Loss condition is to lose Lysander or Protho, or attack the garrison, Glen Garrison. Okay, so apparently don't do that. Lysander, Protho, and two of your most powerful heroes will, with all their spells, skills, and experience, will transfer to the next map. All of your heroes, maximum level 30. Gotcha. Nearly a week after our encounter with the Oracle of the Dawn, we arrived at the border of that rebellious region known as the Wheel. The survivors of the Reckoning, who blamed the destruction of the Old World on rulers like Queen Catherine and King Kilgore, gathered here a few years ago in a community bound by one motto: leave us alone and we'll leave you alone. Until now, Lord Lysander had been glad to oblige. He had his own worries for now. But his experiences dealing with the barons of the Wheel had taught him one thing: they would never allow him to enter their land freely, especially with an army. From a hilltop, we stared across the border into the Wheel. In the morning, we would cross into enemy territory. I'll say it again. Oracles just aren't worth the effort, Protho said. Adamus shook his head in disappointment and said, My dear Protho, oracles provide us the answers to mysteries we might not ever settle on our own. Yeah, but they put you through tests that most men cannot pass. If you do survive, like our brave Lord Lysander here, then they give you a riddle as an answer. What good is that? Knowledge is never easily gained, Lysander said distantly. His behavior had been cold ever since his meeting with the Oracle. Adamus added, Have you deciphered the meaning of the Oracle's riddle, Lord Lysander? Not all of it yet. To seek the blood, seek the steel. The first step of many take toward the Wheel, Adamus repeated the Oracle of the Dawn's riddle. Obviously, I'm supposed to come here to the Wheel, Lysander said, and to seek the blood refers to my quest. I am searching for Sir Wharton's true blood, his true parents. But what's this part about the steel? Sorry, I thought that was Adamus. But what's the part about the steel? Protho asked. That I cannot say. The answers will come, Adamus said confidently. Protho snorted with distaste, but thankfully he took a drink instead of speaking his opinion. Lysander came to his feet, leaving behind most of his meal. Tomorrow, we enter dangerous territory, he said, as an excuse. All of my previous attempts to reason with the barons of the Wheel have been quickly and rudely rebuked. Well, I no longer have the time for diplomacy. It's a shame, Adamus said. I'm kind of looking forward to a good battle, Protho boasted. Lysander returned to his tent to be alone. He was grieving. He was mourning the loss of his best and perhaps last chance to find his siblings. Once again, I cursed the Oracle of the Dawn for forcing him to make a choice between family and Peladra. Oh, look, we don't have a town again. That's a shame. Because I was looking for... Oh, I do have an army, though. Randomly. Yes. Could all of you join me, please? Thank you. I'll have all of you. And I'll have Protho. Yes. And then you two could be together. Oh my, this is a long one. We came to a small roadside inn this morning, and to my surprise, my lord sent Protho inside to purchase bread and other foodstuffs for our journey. Normally, he would perform such a mundane task himself, or send me. I made sure no one was within earshot when I asked him why. Don't you think someone who has been in as many taverns as Protho would know best how to get information from these people? Lysander said. Of course, he was right. Protho returned a little more than an hour later with several sacks over his broad shoulders. His face was only slightly flushed. Give me a minstrel over an oracle any day, Protho announced as he dropped his burden onto the ground before us. What do you mean? Lysander asked. Minstrels make their living traveling from tavern to tavern, singing for their supper. They hear everything, always searching for material for a good song, I guess. Anyway, it only takes a few coins to get them to talk. So what did you learn? Well, Brotho said, Sir Wharton was in the wheel a couple of years ago. He stayed briefly and gave a fortune in gold to the barons here. In return, they let him build a garrison somewhere in the south. A garrison? What's he protecting? I asked. Protho shrugged. No one knows for sure. Some say gold. The most interesting story involved a woman living on the other side of the garrison. A wife? Lysander guessed. I hope not. She's a much older woman. Then Adamus chimed in and said, a mother. Lysander patted Protho encouragingly on the shoulder and said, Did the minstrel know where the woman lives? Sadly, no. He had heard the story from another minstrel, Protho said. Still, this is good to know, Lysander said. It seemed flimsy to me, but I had to admit it was our best clue. Judging by its dilapidated condition, this medicine wagon was abandoned long ago, so you helped yourself to its contents, finding the vial of choking gas, cloud of despair, and potion of endurance. Sure. And a dwarven hammer. Talk to some of the heroes at the tavern, but they all wonder how you are going to support them. Your army is already too large, and you have no room for a new recruit. That doesn't matter. I got another army right here. Hi, people. You know, Nevon is a priest. Equila is a knight. Hi. I already hired the last hero staying at the tavern. No, I didn't. There were all those heroes were staying at the tavern, weren't they? It generally takes another 7 days before more heroes can be recruited. Bullshit! But with that, we can actually play around a little bit with Neva here. Neva? Equila, sorry. Equila. I'm just gonna do a couple things here. Is it Athena? Yes, okay. So, if we give Athena scouting, right? Basic scouting. Scouting is under what now? Athena, hold on. Tactics? Nope. I wish that I would let you go back. Athena, without having to read. Oh, it is scouting, okay. Scouting is its own thing, I guess, huh? Advanced scouting. So now she's a field marshal. Tactics and scouting skills are most likely to become available to the field marshal class. The field marshal's class ability gives all friendly creatures 10% to their melee and range attack. Okay. But now, if we go and we give her nobility, right? I don't know why I go with the first level instead of the second one, because the second one I think is Estates, Grandmaster Estates. Now she's Lord Commander. Tactics and ability skills are most likely to become available to the Lord Commander class. Lord Commander's class ability gives all friendly creatures +2 morale. But now, if I give her some archery, now she's a warlord. Combat and nobility skills are most likely to become available to the warlord class. The warlord's class ability gives her +5 melee attack. Okay. And then if I give her order, charm, advanced charm. No, it doesn't give anything there. So now those are all of her things, right? We have combat. So she's a warlord for good now, essentially. So you can get 5 different class skills that determine what your actual class is. And then once you level up, you would get things like basic melee, basic pathfinding, advanced mining, Stealth. Basic stealth makes the hero invisible to first level creatures and heroes with no scouting skills on the adventure map. Enemies can see the hero. If they are adjacent, the hero can only hide himself, not other creatures or heroes. Huh. Interesting. Alright, back into your army. So, mining here allows the hero to produce 2 each of wood and ore and 2 other resources plus 10% per level of the hero over a 5-day period. The 2 other resources cycle 1 each through gems, mercury, sulfur, and crystals in that order. It is required to learn master nobility, so, you know, getting those things are kind of cool. Alright, there we go. Oh, there are enemies in this one, eh? Very good to know. Mr. Well cannot replenish your magic at this time. That's fine. Plus 10 movement. Many of the locals either flee upon seeing us or simply refuse to talk when we confront them. So far, only Adamus has been able to get some of the other more religious ones to talk, and today, at a simple shrine, Adamus learned the name of the place we seek, Glen Garrison. So giving all heroes a ranged ability is kind of, like, good. You know? Gold and sulfur and resources of all kinds. The messenger came flying the flag of the wheel with 2 knights at his side, and they stood in our path awaiting an official parley. Protho, Lysander said, I leave you in command of the army. They brought 3, so we shall do the same. Adamus and Milton, with me. I retrieved Peladra's banner and followed. We stopped 50 feet from the messengers. I represent the Barons of the Wheel. Until now, we thought Peladra had agreed to leave us alone. Now you trespass on our land. We demand that you turn back immediately and never return, said the messenger. Lysander paused for only a moment. There was no evidence that the man's rude manner bothered him. Take these words back to the Barons of the Wheel, he shouted. I am Lysander, Lord of Peladra. I have no interest in the Wheel and no interest in their land, but neither will I leave. I have come here on a quest that I must complete. I give you my word of honor that I will pass through peacefully and leave as soon as my task is complete. That is unacceptable. Do you expect me to take the word of every man who enters our land with an army? This time I noticed that Lysander clenched his fists at his sides. He wasn't used to having his word of honor questioned. I do not ask you to take every man's word, just mine. I am trying to avoid a war here, Lysander said. Then you never should have stepped foot on the wheel soil. Go back if you truly want to avoid a war. I cannot do that. Then there is nothing else to say, is there? You will regret the day you cross the wheel, Lord Lysander. Soon Peladra will be looking for a new king. The messenger rode away quickly, giving no opportunity for a response. Lysander seemed annoyed, but not surprised. Is there no reasonable person in all the wheel? He asked no one in particular. Remember, Adamus answered, we all come from the same world, the same country even. Their homes were taken away from them. They have lost family members to war and apocalypse. Their behavior may not be sensible, but it is understandable, at least. Either way, blood is going to be spilled when it doesn't have to, Lysander said, and then he too spun his horse around to rejoin the others. Fair enough. Oh my god! When our scouts reported that a wagon had been following us for the better part of a day, I volunteered to investigate. Lysander insisted I take a few soldiers with me. We pulled away from the larger unit and concealed ourselves in a clump of trees to await our prey. Shut up, chicken! To await our prey. Sure enough, a dark I hate this. I really hate this farm next to me. If the audio loop wouldn't cycle so quickly. God, it would be so good. It would be fine, but I hate it. Sure enough, a dark-covered wagon came bumping along the trail. The driver was a squat, older gentleman with powerful arms. Next to him was a crossbow across his lap. With a crossbow across his lap was an even shorter man with a long brown beard. No, wait, he wasn't a man, but a dwarf. When the wagon reached our position, we stormed from cover and surrounded our prey. Hold it right there, I shouted. The driver could have urged his wagon forward, but we all had horses and would have caught him anyway. The dwarf raised his crossbow and targeted my heart, wisely determining that I was the leader. You ain't bandits, the driver said. You're wearing the colors of Peladra. Yes, we are the loyal soldiers of Lysander, Lord of Peladra. And you have been following us. Tell me why. To my great relief, the dwarf lowered his crossbow and said, Ah, there isn't anything devious about it. We're only trying to catch up to you and maybe drum up some business. Yes, we're Mott and Bordeaux, smiths of extraordinary skill, said the driver. That's Bordeaux and Mott, snapped the other. Mott, the driver, grumbled and ignored the interruption. Be it weapons that will slice through your enemy's armor or armor that will shatter your enemy's sword, Mott and Bordeaux can do it all. I lowered my sword. These two are no threat. We have our own weaponsmith, sorry. Let us show you some of our work. You'll sack your smiths right away, said Mott. Leave them alone, said Bordeaux. It's not right to get men of our own craft fired. I quietly turned to leave, but Mott said, None of our peers have bothered to help us since we left Glen Garrison. What? I said. Do you work at the Glen Garrison? Mistaking my interest as a chance to make a sell, Mott slapped his partner on the arm and said, Certainly! We was hired by Captain Firth himself when he saw how spectacular our weapons are. My best chance of silencing these two smiths and getting the information I needed would be to give them work, so I hired them on the spot. After that, they were forthcoming when I asked about their employment at Glen Garrison. Captain Firth was all right, but a little stingy with the gold. He was always trying to cut our prices, Bordeaux said. Good riddance, I say, Mott added. He had never satisfied with anything. I think maybe he's upset that he's guarding some old lady. I smiled and humored the two as they rambled on. Lord Lysander had to hear what Mott and Bordeaux had to say. Die, chickens, die! Get me the hell away from these chickens. You poisoning my men? How dare you? There you go. That'll do you better. Forward! We never get to reach anything. You know, maybe I should switch those. Because these boys, the champions, never actually make it anywhere because of the positioning. Wait, I can just change their positions. Duh. That might help. Shut up, chickens! Shut the fuck up! For God's sakes, just shut up! Get me away from this farm! What's this say? You stare into the magical images hovering before the window of the Magi. At first, everything is blurry, as if you're underwater. Then the images clears as you realize you're looking at some far-off land. Ah, yes, the eyes. Ah, you're gonna give me visions of the towns, eh? And probably Glen Garrison there. Fair enough. Adibus and Protho entered my lord's tent together, immediately gathering around Lysander's strategy table. He had drawn a rough map of the wheel, and in one remote area there was a large red X. Lysander placed a finger on that exact spot. That's where she is, he said. Who? Protho asked. Wharton's mother, I'm sure of it. The smiths from Glen Garrison have been amazingly helpful. I even know her name. It's Desset. So all we have to do is pass through this Glen Garrison. Is there any chance we could talk our way through, or perhaps offer a bribe? Animus said. Lysander shook his head and said, I doubt it. The commander of the garrison, Captain Firth, has been itching for a fight. Excuse me? Game? Okay. Sorry about that. The game crashed on me, which is interesting. has been itching for a fight for a long time. The Smiths claim that he is well prepared for such a battle. He wants it. Then we give him one? Then we give him one, Protho said boldly. I wish it were so easy. Apparently, Captain Firth is under orders to kill Desert the moment he sees an army approaching the garrison. Would he really do such a thing? Kill an innocent woman? Adamus asked. I don't know. He has manned that post for more than 2 years. He's obviously loyal. We can't take the chance that he will carry out that order. So I've come up with an alternate plan, Lysander said. Lysander went on to explain that there was an old magical portal located somewhere behind Glen Garrison. No one used it anymore, so Captain Firth would never expect an army to approach from that direction. We'll come up behind Glen Garrison and give Captain Firth one chance to surrender. If he refuses, we attack. I don't want to give him the chance to slip someone out to assassinate Desert. Haha.